Thank you.
Great. So now is a time that we can do some experiential practice. So, some of you may have had some experience with mindfulness practice. We have apps galore right now, and there are many wonderful apps out there that you could use for guided meditation and for learning. But mindfulness is also extremely simple, and it's often associated with meditation. So, what we're going to be doing right now can feel like meditation, but I once taught a long course where we didn't even actually use the word meditation. We just used mindfulness practice. So I encourage you, if you're able, to sit in a balanced kind of way with your feet flat on the floor. And if you're in the midst of doing something, I know that, some of us have our screens off, and that's just kind of how things go with Zoom these days. But if you're moving around in your home or something like that, just let yourself pause. And let's just think of this as pausing in the middle of wherever we are in our day. And in this place of pause, coming to a full stop, and recognize that you've come to a full stop right now. If you'd like, if it's safe for you to do so, you can close your eyes. So just even recognizing that all that momentum that has carried you to this point in your day, all that momentum can settle, and you've simply arrived with awareness in what we might call the present moment. And in doing that, sometimes we notice a shift right away. It's like, oh, wait a second, slowing down. Oh, I can take a breath now. And if you haven't already taken a deep breath, go ahead and take one now. And as you exhale, allowing your shoulders to drop. If there's any muscles in the body that might respond to an invitation to relax, then you can certainly do that. Just putting out the welcome mat for the body to self-regulate on its own. All of these inner processes that can respond when we tune in and breathe. Go ahead and take another deep breath. Inhaling fully and then exhaling. Allowing the abdomen to relax. And if the body doesn't relax the way you'd like it to, it's okay, just noticing that. Inhaling with awareness of inhaling, and exhaling with awareness of exhaling. And just letting yourself be. In this very moment, there's nothing else that's required except a sense of tuning in. You might say letting go or letting be, whichever works better for you. And just continue breathing. When the mind wanders, there can actually be part of the process is noticing the mind, acknowledging thinking, and every time you acknowledge thinking, come back to the breath. So we all breathe all the time from the moment that we come into this world until we reach that arc of our lifetime, and all the breaths that are breathed in between. Some of them we're not even aware of. A lot of times we're not aware of breathing. But right now, the breath is a resource for both slowing down and calming and changing our inner physiology, as well as giving the mind a place to rest. Because the mind likes to have something to do. So we're giving it something to do. Inhaling with awareness of inhaling. Exhaling with awareness of exhaling. There may be a sense of greater ease or relaxation, but if not, if there's perhaps just more of an awareness of, oh man, I've been moving fast today, maybe some fast on the outside or fast on the inside, that's good. In terms of mindfulness, it's helpful to simply be aware of what's happening now. And whatever is happening right now, there's nothing we need to do. It can be helpful to think about it as putting the welcome mat out for whatever this inner experience is right now, because it's already happening. It's not like we're saying, oh great, pain, welcome. But it's like, oh, it's here, hello. And even being here for ourselves in this way. Another deep breath in, feeling the expansion of the chest, perhaps even in a subtle way, but maybe in a stronger way. And then exhaling in the muscles of the chest and torso. Just relax. Begin to relax. Just like that. And so continuing to breathe with awareness, but letting awareness also expand to include the body, the rest of the body, all of it. And everything that comes into awareness with that, which sometimes might be discomfort. Again, with mindfulness, we notice it's already here with a kind attention. The spirit of self-compassion. We show up for ourselves in this moment. If there's discomfort in the body, even related to tension, you can imagine that you're breathing into that area. Either down, taking the breath through the nose all the way down into the tension or whatever's there, back up from that area, or you could even imagine you're breathing directly from that spot. And so mindfulness is related always to our experience of our senses. So right now, just tuning into sound. The sound of my voice, the sound in your environment. So mindfulness is an inclusive kind of practice. And just let yourself be in the middle of all the things that are happening, in the middle of the sound, sensations, breathing. Life is happening through you in this moment. And welcoming all of yourself to be here. And with that welcoming, even notice the response in the body. It's like, oh, I don't need to ignore that part or pretend it isn't happening. It's like, no, welcome. Sometimes we leave ourselves behind. So we call ourselves back into the present moment. And sometimes in our lives we are so active, sometimes mentally, sometimes physically, that during this kind of a practice, it's like, oh, I don't want to pay attention. I've been paying attention all day. My mind is tired. It's like, just let your awareness float. You don't even have to think of being a meditator, but just sitting with awareness. You can even be aware of where the mind is going, what's happening in the body, your awareness of breathing. But it's a spacious kind of attention. And just letting yourself be. So in a moment, this meditation will come to a close. Whatever the experience is, whether something physical or an insight perhaps, can carry over into your day or night, whatever comes next. It doesn't necessarily live in this space we call meditation. And just let yourself be. And we'll bring this meditation to a close now, and when you're ready, you can open your eyes. So I was going to do some small groups here, but I can't tell with so many screens being off, I can't tell who's actually here to participate that way. So if you're here and you'd like to participate in a breakout where we're going to have some time to talk about our experience with the meditation, and there's a note in the chat, if you can turn on your camera, or at least unmute and let us know you'd like to participate. That'd be a good way to do it. So Layla and Zoe, Tina, Stephanie, two, I don't know if we have two Stephanies or, I think we do. I think we have two Stephanies.
I logged in as a participant to make sure all is well.
Okay, good. I won't put you in a breakout room with yourself. All right, so I'm going to try to set up some breakout rooms. And, most of us have had some experience with Zoom this way, but what happens is you'll see an invitation pop up on the screen. And if you click accept or join, and the purpose here is to be able to have this be a personal experience. You could talk about your experience of the meditation. You could, it might be something like, wow, I was relaxed in the meditation, but I don't know how this would apply to going into a doctor's appointment, or, but however you relate to mindfulness. So let me see if I can set this up. Let's see, put, this is tricky because I can't tell who's muted and who's unmuted by looking at the chat. Okay, let's see. Give me a moment. You can just stay with your kind of the, whatever you can feel of the mindfulness practice. Okay, got coming along here. And let's see. Okay, great. Thank you for your patience. Okay. And okay, again, thank you for your patience while I do this. I'm almost there. Okay. So I've got Jennifer and Samantha together. I've got both of you, Stephanie, both of your parts, and Tina together. I've got Amy and Karen. And let's see, Layla's on there. Karen, Stephanie. I'm going to go through the names again, and if you don't hear your name, maybe you could raise your hand with the reactions. I've got Jennifer and Samantha, Stephanie and Tina, Amy and Karen, and I've got Thomas and... Okay, so Thomas, I'm going to put you into the room with Amy and Karen. Okay, there we go. All right, so, okay, great. So I'm going to open all the rooms, and we're just going to do this for 5 minutes. So it always goes by really fast. And see if you can have time for everybody to speak. I'll let you kind of organize yourself into that. So here come the invitations.
recorded.
So welcome back. I'm always amazed how fast it can go when these breakout rooms are happening, right? And I think I even gave you a little longer than 5 minutes too. And it's always nice when it takes people a while to come back too, because I know that it's people are really engaged.
I was going to say it's the calmest I've felt all week after a very stressful week. So
It's good medicine. It really is this way of being able to, and I'd be curious how, this isn't necessarily a time for now, but my mind goes to wondering how it could influence even the experience of adrenaline that, some people have with Pheo Para. There's so much we still don't know, and there are so many research studies related to mindfulness. So it'd be a really interesting area to bring some more, science here.
we just did a IRB approved study on patient reported outcomes, and some of the questions are related to not so a little bit of mental health stuff, not much, but we hope that it will encourage other researchers to kind of take that information and kind of go down that path. So more quality of life stuff.
Oh, that's neat. I'd love to see that sometime if you ever want to share it with me.
Yes, we actually have one of our presentations today is on, we're not quite sharing the data yet, but the session later on today provides some more detail about it. So
Wonderful. So let's see. So you guys were together, and I never know what will come out of these breakout rooms because I'm not in them. But I am curious, especially curious for our group here today, if you could put in the chat, or you can come on camera. And I'm pretty sure that when we're recording this, I think it's only the presenter who's recorded. So not 100% sure on that, but you could put in the chat how mindfulness could be applied to your experience of either stress or especially Pheo Para. And I'm imagining, things like, whatever way symptoms manifest, and it could be, mental or physical, being able to apply mindfulness there, being in the middle of a stressful experience, doctor's office, great place to practice mindfulness. And you don't even have to close your eyes. You can just sit there and find something to focus your attention on, and that's just like having the breath, some place to bring the mind back to when it wanders. So if anybody wants to put in the chat something about your experience with that, or anything else that came out of the breakout rooms for you. Pre-op and post-op.
and I wasn't sure, you didn't give us a lot of direction, and I really like direction, but I like when we got in there, it was very easy just to chat about, mindfulness and our experience that just happened and how to incorporate it in our life. So I like that it wasn't structured and you didn't tell us what to do.
Good. Anything in particular that came out for you, Stephanie, related to how you might apply it to your life?
Just that, even a little bit, doing a little bit can really have a big impact. And I'm not a patient, so I know there's a lot of patients commenting here. But that was just my experience, is even just doing a little bit every day can really be change your entire day.
It really does, and no amount is too small. And we can even find that after 5 minutes of mindfulness practice, they can still see the changes in physiological markers when they test blood or cortisol. They can see the changes even after these short periods of mindfulness. So let me read some of the responses here. So I plan to use it during pre-op and post-op. We could do a whole class just on that. That's really huge. I think it's really important to take the time to practice mindfulness when it feels like your body is racing and going nuts. Absolutely. I I do that all the time, and I don't have Pheo Para, but life happens, and often we feel it in the body. I think mindfulness could be helpful in addressing things like anxiety, absolutely, and it's one of the areas where we actually do have a lot of research showing the benefit, where it could be as effective as Valium at times when stress feels impossible to control. Yes.
No, no.
Mindfulness allowed me to notice what stress was presenting in my body. I noticed I had a lot of neck shoulder tension. Yes, and so often when we're on autopilot going through our day, we don't even realize something like the toll it's taking on our body. And an example I think of is when I'm driving and I realize that I'm gripping the steering wheel or something, or that my shoulders are tense. And the way awareness can even have a healing influence is that sometimes as soon as we notice, we just automatically respond. Really helps to reset. Yes, it's a great, I think of it as resetting or recharging. We could all relate to, recharging our devices. We could also recharge, reset our, our whole body. And it's all about self regulation. I mean, this is all the physiology, right? There's the attention, but it's very much related to self regulation. A lot of stress before appointments as well, after an appointment, especially when it doesn't go so well. And one of the things that we haven't really touched on is the way mindfulness can come into communication, like at the doctor's office and in my work with the School of Nursing. We actually work with the medical students and nurses to help them with being better communicators in their appointments, which I know that we've all had experiences with doctors coming in and going fast and not listening. And that's part of communication, is being able to listen without thinking about what's going to happen next. And, having been a patient in different circumstances myself, it can be counterintuitive. Like, but wait, I've got this list of things I need to remember to speak to. Sometimes by pausing and letting go and even listening, the next thing comes forward that's like, oh, that's where we're actively engaging. It's great if the doctor provider can do that too, but we're in touch with our bodies in the moment. It's like, oh, okay. Oh, there's that thing I didn't even remember I needed to ask and or put on my list, and it's right here. So, and another aspect of communication is to realize that it actually is retrospective or reflexive, where we can actually say later on, oh, I could have said that differently, and then follow up. If we've snapped at somebody, we can say, hey, I didn't really handle that the most skillfully that I could have, or I'd like to revisit what I said. I didn't mean such and such. So, mindfulness and communication is huge. Yeah, it's so important for healthcare providers, and the burnout is extraordinary. Apparently, a lot of the stress, the huge stress, comes with the medical record because they have to spend time documenting everything in the electronic system that goes beyond their time with the patients. So they're like up to here with stress. And we could even realize that I have had some of the best conversations with health providers in, my health. It's very personal and real, and many of them will actually drop into having a real conversation if we can all be on board with connecting, which that's what happens with mindfulness, is we're in self-connection with ourselves, and so we can connect with others as well. That's huge. Relationships, another huge area of stress for all of us, whether we have health issues or not. And so connection is really that point of being aware and noticing when we're even not present. That's huge, right? I mean, how many times have we been in a conversation where the mind is already thinking about the next thing we want to say, and we could actually be more responsive, and things don't always go the way that we want them to or the way we need them to, and in the moment, we can notice that and even revisit it or have a follow-up plan for ourselves later. And yeah, I encourage you all to continue with mindfulness practice and, look into the apps that are your YouTube. But there's a lot of free apps out there, and Insight Timer is one of the best free resources. There's actually thousands of meditations on there. So, and you could even type in, I mean, there may even be something related to Pheo Para. I'm sometimes surprised what is, what specialized areas can appear in the meditations there. So the hour is coming to a close here, and feel free to follow up with me. You can contact me through my website if you have more questions. If I didn't address something here today that you'd like to connect with, and even if you're watching this recording later and you'd like to get in touch with me, I'm happy to correspond with you. And there's a way that you can even schedule a call with me through my website. So thank you for having me here today. It's been a pleasure. And
Thank you so much, Denise. Oh my gosh, I love that session. I wanted just to, in closing, thank you, Denise, for your time and expertise and dedication to our patient community. I also wanted to thank again Progenics for supporting the 3rd Annual Awareness Week. And this and all sessions will be available for viewing on this platform. So don't forget to tune into some of the remaining conference sessions we have on later today, which you can access in the chat function. We do have to announce our 4 people to receive a giveaway.
All right, I'm going to do a live drawing here. Are we ready?
Okay, thank you.
All right, I've got everybody's name here of the attendees, and I'll just read off the 4 names. And then if you want to email me, or no, email me, and I'll just forward their information to you, Tina. Okay,
Perfect.
We have Patricia 1, Samantha. How many, Tina?
4.
Okay, Thomas.
Yay,
And
Thomas.
Layla. Patricia, Samantha, Thomas, and Layla, just email me at this email, and I'll go ahead and forward your mailing addresses on to Tina, and she'll send out your books.
Yes. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. And we wish everybody a Pheo Para Fearless Day.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everybody.
guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Denise.